Welcome back, guys. This is my Rando Reacts for Unboxing Indiana, what it's like living in Indiana. And this is a Nick Johnson joint. You should check out his channel. It's pretty cool. He's got a bunch of like what it's like living in such and such, like Unboxing Michigan, good and bad about living in Michigan. He has Unboxing New Jersey, Unboxing Pennsylvania, Unboxing New York, Unboxing Florida, Unboxing America as a whole, etc., etc. He's got a bunch of videos. He's May of 2020, so he's still doing these and working his way through the 50 states. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little video. And since I am from Indiana, Evansville, Indiana to be exact, I figured I would watch this video. I've already seen it. Full disclosure, transparency, clear as clear can be. I've already seen this video, and I figured it'd be cool to react to or a review, and maybe, I don't want to say refute what he has to say, but like either agree or disagree, because he does make some sweeping general statements about the whole entire state as a whole, and some of the stuff he talks about. I don't know anybody that likes the stuff that he says everybody in Indiana likes, and I only live in Evansville, Indiana, so just saying. And also he's got other videos like best and worst towns to live in, safest cities to live in, etc., etc. So you should check him out. Oh, and say hi to Mappy for me when you go there, and tell Mappy to keep his to divorce his wife, Mrs. Mappy, because, well, you should watch the series because it's pretty fucking funny. If you like what I do, please like, share, and subscribe. Click the notify bell for new content, and check out my Facebook and Twitter. Links will be in the description along with links for this, so you can watch it without me being silly, or just watch it without any interruptions or anything. But again, like I said, I'm a native Indianian. I was born here, born and raised here. Same house, or not same house, same city. I could say same house. I've been living here for a long time. So, but I live in the city proper, near downtown-ish. We was downtown at one time until Barry and Deaconess came around, and they rezoned, and now we're in part of the industrial area, and part of Jimtown, but I still consider us kind of part of downtown, because we're pretty much the outskirts of downtown, because really I can throw a football and hit downtown if I really wanted to. Or maybe not me, because I don't have no muscles, but someone that knows how to throw a football could throw a football from my house and hit like downtown squares, the downtown square or the downtown library, because yeah, it's not that far down from my house. So if you like what I do, please like, share, subscribe, notify bell, click it, and check out my Facebook and Twitter. Links will be in the description along with links for this. So let's get on with it. Leave me a comment. And again, his station is called Nick Johnson, so look him up. He's got some really good videos, so check him out. And again, like I said, I live in Indiana. I've lived in Indiana all my life. I'm 37 years old, so I've got 37 years of experience about Indiana. I remember when they first started the Lord Expressway project here. I remember when they finished the Lord Expressway project, and now I remember when they restarted the project so they could repave it after a year of use, or a couple years of use. Not that long. It's like, I don't understand. But let's get on with it. See if his general statements are correct, or see if we can refute some. Which we can probably refute a couple of them. So let's get on with it.
Do people in Indiana drive tractors to
No, we don't drive tractors to
school? Does everyone here care about basketball?
No, I used to when I was younger, because my grandpa was an IU fan, but not so much anymore. The only sport I care about is professional wrestling.
And do all Indiana people trespass during mushroom season?
No, because I didn't even know we had a fucking mushroom season until watching this video for the first time. And I bet you didn't know we had a mushroom season either.
We'll answer those questions and more. So grab your Bibles and your chicken tenderloins. We're gonna
It's not tenderloins, it's tenders, chicken tenders, and not all of us have Bibles or want to read, have Bibles or believe in the Bible, even though we are pretty much in the Bible Belt. So, oh, and don't he kind of sound like Doug Stanhope? I think the guy that did Super High Me, doesn't he kind of sound and look like him just a wee bit? Just saying.
unbox the state of Indiana.
I want to know how he got away with this music, because isn't this the Price is Right? Oh, isn't this the Price is Right's music, or one of them old game show musics? I don't know. I might have to mute this part or something when I process it. Oh yeah, we got our first share of Walmarts. We have three or four of them. 2 super centers and like 2 or 3 family centers.
Okay, great opening, right? Love that music. Welcome to Indiana, everyone. You probably really can't tell we're actually in Indiana, because this looks like pretty much the entire Midwest, but I swear this was filmed about 20 minutes outside of Indianapolis. This must have been a corn year, because, you know, they rotate crops every year here. That's to save the soil, but more on that later. To get a complete understanding of the state of Indiana, we need to start at the higher level, and then drill down into the Hoosier State's various smaller regions. Then we'll get into what the state's all about. You know, the farms, the rednecks, the boring culture. It's actually not very exciting here at all. But we'll make this entertaining, promise. I mean, I did live here for about 5 years of my life, so I kind of know what I'm talking about.
Key word in that statement, kinda.
We'll begin in the northwest part of the state.
And I just now noticed it. I don't know if it's the way he talks or what, but is his but when he talks, is his tongue not moving? It looks like he, like, instead of saying living, you know, living, he was like, I can't even do like it is, but it didn't look like his tongue moved when he made it when he made the L sound.
Work our way around and then come to the middle part, where most of the people live. This part of the state is called NWI, or Northwest Indiana. This area right here is Gary and its surrounding suburbs. Now, Gary might just be the most destitute place in the entire Midwest. It's ghetto, really dangerous.
And I've also noticed with this video, watching this, and I've watched it before, Indiana seems to look like Indiana. You know what I mean? Like there's like the cities. You know, like in some of I've seen other videos that he does. I'm probably not going to do because I don't live in those places. They're still interesting videos. You should check them out. To where, you know, they would go to a city here or a city there, like in Chicago, like in Illinois, they go to Chicago. Then they would go to somewhere else. And you can tell the differences in the cities with the buildings and the architecture and the roadways or whatever. Not with this. Once you've seen one Indiana road, you've seen them all. And there was a couple times he was filming. I could have swore he was filming downtown Evansville, but I'm not for sure.
And just not a happy place. Factories here closed ages ago.
Well, it's Indiana. Not a happy place.
And the leftover crumbling downtown area is very Detroit-esque. The neighborhoods are run down and practically abandoned in many areas. The city's tearing down a bunch of these homes to try to clean the place up, but they can't keep up. To try to get people to move here, you can buy a home here for $1. But the catch is you have to live here for a long time. Anyways, Gary's glory days are long gone. It's about a half hour from South Chicago, so you could generalize this whole area here from Gary to Michigan City and even all the way up to South Bend and Elkhart as one big hood. Of course, South Bend is home to the prestigious University of Notre Dame, which forever had the most notable football program in the nation. But they're not very good anymore.
True.
However, outside of the charming walls of Notre Dame is the rest of South Bend, which is not prestigious or charming. South Bend is poor and dangerous, as is nearby Elkhart, a blue-collar community where they build RVs and other things. Folks work hard here.
Yeah, those were literally videos from Elkhart, Indiana, and I forget where other place he said, and that could have been anywhere in Evansville. Like literally anywhere in Evansville. He could have literally stopped in Evansville and this is Elkhart, and everybody been like, oh, it looks like Elkhart, because that looked like Evansville, even though he was using Google Maps, so it was actually Elkhart, Indiana. But still, yeah.
Now, an uplifting part of northern Indiana are Gary's south suburbs. Communities like Hammond and Munster are actually pretty decent places. It's clean and safe, and there's
quick fact about Munster, they just had someone on America's Got Talent from there. He didn't go through. He sucked.
quite a few people who commute into Chicago every day. Folks have good jobs, it's affordable, and the schools are good. These are the Indiana kids that graduate and then go to Purdue. This is Lake Michigan. Indiana actually has quite a few nice beaches along the Lake Michigan shoreline. The most famous beach is likely Indiana Dunes, which has 15 miles of shoreline and some really big sand dunes.
Yeah, this was a revelation to me. I didn't know we had I didn't know we had beaches. Well, I figured we had beaches, but I didn't know we had good beaches.
Where people can hike and such. Along the lake, there's some decent neighborhoods. Some are poorer and some are really fancy. It's pretty quiet up here. You can actually see downtown Chicago from Indiana's shoreline. Over here near the Ohio border is pretty much farms, rednecks, Amish people, and the city of Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne has a decent-sized state college. It's almost the perfect size, 250,000 people, which makes it family friendly. It actually got named as the best place to raise a family once. Fort Wayne is one of the best kept secrets in the Midwest. It's really affordable, pretty safe, and just about all the kids graduate high school. But who doesn't graduate high school are the Amish, and they're a big deal in some parts of Indiana. Their formal education typically ends after 8th grade, where they are then taught life skills at home. Growing up learning agriculture and craftsmanship, the Amish population is super efficient at farming, making furniture, and building homes. These are pretty much the best behaved kids in the entire state. Some Amish communities are very strict when it comes to modernization, and they don't have cell phones, cars, or even electricity. That's why you see them in horse and buggies. Other less strict Amish communities drive cars and have computers. Indiana has the largest Amish population as a percentage of its state's residents of any other state. The Amish aren't just big in Indiana. You can see on this map that they're also well established in Ohio and Pennsylvania. This is called Amish Alley. It's here where a lot of people buy their furniture.
Did you know there's 10 accidents a month involving cars and horse and buggies in America?
What? That's a lot, Mappy. I can imagine there's probably a lot of wrecks.
It's Mappy!
Since there's a lot of windy roads in these parts. Let's see. Hey, you're right. A quick search shows that there's a lot of accidents in one part of Pennsylvania alone. So slow down for the Amish buggies, people. The whole rest of this part of the state is farms. If you live here, sorry I didn't mention your hometown. I'm sure your marching band's good. The Lafayette, West Lafayette area is a big deal in western Indiana. This is where Purdue University is located.
Lafayette. Another quick fact, the wrestler named Ruby Riott is from Lafayette, Indiana, and she's on the WWE. Fingers crossed she doesn't get the pandemic.
They used to have good sports teams, but because Indiana's cold and not much fun, most of the best athletes now go to schools where it's warm, where the parties are much bigger, and where the girls are more fun to hang out with. Lafayette peeps sure do like to drink. It's
so true, so true. And I know that brewery's not here in Evansville, but yeah, this looks like downtown Evansville, but it's not.
been said there.
You're gonna probably hear that a lot when I do this video. That this looks like my hometown because it's Indiana and nothing is different or stands out or unique about Indiana.
There's more bars per capita here than anywhere else in the country. I lived here for about 3 years. I know. I took this picture from a downtown bar as the Purdue Marching Band performed during the Lafayette Christmas Parade. Terre Haute has places to buy boots and stinks like manure. That's all there is to say about Terre Haute. The bottom part of the state is small towns, some German and Amish communities.
Right there, right here. It says Evansville. This is where I live in this area right here. I can literally spit and if the wind is right, probably hit someone in Kentucky. But yeah, I literally live right here, and when I drive to my friend's house, I drive past the Ohio River. So yeah, Deutschland. Yeah. There's a lot of Dutch in this town. In my town, and mostly from where I'm at, is mostly German, Dutch, a little bit of Scottish because I'm mostly Scottish, and a touch of Irish.
Some actual rolling hills near the Ohio River on the Kentucky state line, and, well, more farms. Many of the buildings are covered in limestone. This part of the state leads the nation in watermelon production.
Nice.
If you drove 30 minutes in any...
I swear that this is literally, he showed up for the fall festival in Evansville, because that literally is downtown anywhere in Evansville, Indiana, or that looks like Franklin Street in Evansville, Indiana. That literally looks like Evansville.
Any direction down here on a random summer weekend, you'd likely find a small town watermelon festival.
Oh, but not that. We don't. We might have had some stuff here like this, but we don't have no watermelon festivals. We just have the fall festival.
They call this part of the state Kentuckiana, and it's just about as redneck as the name suggests. Sometimes kids in these parts take part in an annual Indiana tradition, Take Your Tractor to School Day.
It's not a tradition in Evansville because we're a city. Well, we're a large town that thinks we're a city, but still, we don't have Bring Your Tractor to School Day.
Or Tractor Day.
Yeah, we don't have Tractor Day here in Evansville, Indiana.
Where kids drive their tractors to school. Sounds lame, but the redneck ladies love it. This usually happens early spring to coincide with Future Farmers of America Week. There are actual kids that don't farm here, though. This is Bloomington, Indiana, home to Indiana University, or IU, as they call it.
Yeah, that's kind of near where I'm at. Yes, Indiana University. Yeah, That looks a little more distinct than my town. The buildings look a little more antique or old or something like that. Because around here, especially the past couple years, if a building sits empty too long, no matter what it is, historical society or not, it's gone. Unless this historical society does have like a lockdown on it, but like you can't knock this down. I don't care how fucking dilapidated it is. It's a landmark. But other than that, if it sits empty too long,
Bloomington kids party a lot, and there's bars everywhere here. One time, Princeton University called Indiana University the biggest party school in the nation. IU has a pretty good basketball team, and turns out lots of
he's right about the best coach ever. He's right. Back when I used to follow Indiana basketball with my grandpa, best coach ever. Just saying.
doctors and dentists. This is Brown County. This is arguably the prettiest part of the state, Indiana's version of Yosemite National Park. There's hiking, shopping, dining, covered bridges, antiquing, and little inns. Indiana is lucky to have it.
Yeah, that's probably the most unique part of Indiana. This is like the exception that proves the rule about Indiana just being one big giant blanket state of crap.
Outside of a bunch of teeny towns and such, the rest of the state is Indianapolis and its surrounding suburbs. Indianapolis is the center of the state and its capital, which is why they call it Indianapolis. Polis means city in Greek. Indianapolis is the 17th largest city in the country.
I didn't know that until I watched the video the first time. Nice.
At nearly 900,000 people. It's almost as big as San Francisco and is larger than Denver and Seattle. Indianapolis can be generally broken up into a few various regions. The west side is strip malls and shopping. Indianapolis Speedway is on this side of town, which is a spectacle we'll talk about later. The south side is ghetto and home to industrial factories, which are part of the reason Indiana is the most polluted state of all, at least statistically. The further north you get from downtown, the safer and more pleasant it gets, until you get too far north. The communities of Zionsville, Fishers, Carmel, Noblesville, Whitestown, and Westfield are where Indiana's snobs live. These are the wealthy white families where parents shop at farmers markets and kids work part-time jobs to pay for their own cell phones. So responsible of them. Many families have heated driveways and drive SUVs. Indy, as it's called, has a reputation as being very boring, which is why it still carries the nickname Naptown. This is before they built a fancy new stadium downtown when Peyton Manning was here. Once the Colts started winning, things got more exciting here. It's not really fun, but they're trying hard here. I mean, the place hosted the Super Bowl in 2012. There's new apartments springing up all over the downtown area, but they're expensive. There might be too many new apartments now, since vacancy rates are climbing. Fountain Square and Broad Ripple are neighborhoods that are actually stimulating. But downtown proper is mostly built for the convention center crowd, a few chain restaurants and bars and some shopping. Most of the other areas around Indianapolis aren't worth mentioning. They're a little rough around the edges, especially Lawrence, which is so bad Live PD spent a whole season there. Much
More than one season. I've watched a couple of seasons of Live PD before they was canceled, and yeah, that was one of the places they like to hunker down in to show stuff, because it was Lawrence, Indiana was how do I put this, interesting, about as interesting as Nye County, Nevada. Just saying.
much of it seemingly in high-speed chases. Of course, Indiana has a lot of farms. It's endless miles of corn and soybean fields, with an occasional winter.
Yeah. I worked on a couple of soybean fields as a like a temp job, part-time job. With not technically farming, it was for, here's a dirty word, Monsanto, and we was collecting soybeans for them to test them so they can figure out if the herbicides and whatnot were working and not damaging the plant or caustic to humans. So, yeah.
Winter wheat field tossed in. It's flat here, and the thick, rich soil is due to the large ice sheet.
So I guess I have farmed, but I'm not a farmer. I was just a worker, a temp worker. I worked for maybe 3-4 months at Monsanto, and maybe 2 of those 3 to 4 months, maybe 6 months I was there. I was out on the farm. The rest of it I was just inside doing busy work, basically, separating seeds and whatnot. So I don't really technically call that farming, but I guess I was on a farm a couple of times. But if being on a farm means I'm a farmer, then everybody in the whole entire country is a farmer.
Sheets, which brought sediments to the area from as far away as Canada. So Indiana soil was once Canadian soil. Too bad, Canada, we got your soil. Indiana's the 10th largest farming state in the nation, where there's nearly 100,000 farmers that are typically 57 years old. I was one myself. That's right, I moved from California out to a small community in western Indiana in 2010 and began an organic farm. I just needed to leave Southern California. I wish I had more pictures and videos of the experience, but for 5 springs, summers, and fall, I was on a farm that was about 10 acres big. I learned a lot, and I'm glad I did it, but being a city boy from California, I wasn't much welcomed into the community. Neighbors trespassed all the time. They took wood from my woods and fish from my pond. They littered on my property, too. They were jerks.
Yeah, that's pretty much Indiana. Pretty much Indianans. They're not. If you're a native Indianan or you've been living in Indiana for like a year and a half, then they start warming up to you. Or if you're native Indiana, they like you automatically. But for the most part, we're not as bad as Jersey or Philadelphia, but we can be some real fucking jerks.
But the people who were helpful were the Amish. They literally taught me how to farm organically. I'm eternally grateful to them for their help. Anyways, here's a short video I did find that shows me and my friends blowing some stuff up one day.
When he said Steph, he kind of sounded like Donnie Baker, if you know who that is.
If there's something Indiana folks love, it's Morel Mushrooms. They go crazy for them.
Again, I didn't know we had Morel Mushrooms or a mushroom season in Indiana.
These tasty guys pop up in random places in the woods each April. An Indiana person will risk a broken hip or a bullet in the back to find them. And they'll walk all over your property to get them too. That's because there's not a lot of woods left here. It's alternative farming. So they just pull over to the side of any road and they walk into the woods and they look for mushrooms. Doesn't matter if it's your property or not. I've seen near fights break out over poached mushrooms. It's not uncommon for people to pull guns on one another over them. But before mushroom season comes, you have to endure months of Indiana's terrible winters. They sure are long and cold.
That looks like I forget what its name, but that looks like right up north of right outside of daylight, but probably not. But that might be in Princeton, not Princeton. Where is it? New Harmony, Indiana. I might be up in New Harmony. I think New Harmony's in Indiana. Shows you how much I know about Indiana, and I've lived here for 37 years. But yeah, our winters fucking suck. There was one winter we had snow all the way up to the window, and the window is like 4 foot off the ground. Yeah, we didn't go anywhere for a while.
But it isn't the snow that breaks you, it's the long stretches of gray sky. You might go 3 weeks in a row of 20 degrees and no sun before
And that's just in the summertime.
you get a couple sunny days. I don't know how people do it for their entire lifetimes. Those Indiana winters.
You just get used to it, and then you just smoke pot and drink beer. Or at least I smoke pot and drink beer. I don't know about the rest of you.
Indiana's politics are very red. Going back to the 1830s, Indiana voted to elect a Democrat for president only twice, Obama in '08 and Lyndon B. Johnson in 1964. A lot of the conservative culture comes from Indiana's upbringing. Back in the day, Indiana was settled by poor farmers who brought in values like religion, marriage, and child rearing. Indiana folks like small government and low taxes because they want the freedom to do what they want, when they want, and how they want. No free meals for you, pal. You gotta work hard to get what you want in this world. Or just take it from the neighbors.
That too.
Outside of agriculture, Indiana is a pharmaceutical and automobile production giant.
I knew about the automobiles. I didn't know about the pharmaceuticals.
In fact, you may not know, Indiana ranks 5th among all states in pharmaceutical products. The Hoosier State also has the second highest number of biopharmaceutical jobs. Plus, Indiana ranks 3rd in the U.S. for automobile production, and it's 2nd in the nation if you count all the RVs they make in the northeast part of the state. Culture-wise, there isn't much to talk about. Basketball's a big deal here, as evident from the awesome classic movie Hoosiers.
I agree. It is a pretty good movie.
Which tells the story about a small school in a farm town which won the state basketball title in 1951. Basketball was invented in Massachusetts in 1891, but was born in Indiana. Back then, it was a couple peach buckets and a soccer ball. But by the early 1900s, the whole state had basketball fever. So you can't blame folks here for being passionate about Purdue or IU or the Pacers or their local high school teams. It's in their blood. Now, we mentioned the Indianapolis 500 earlier.
He did this, what year did he do this? Real quick. He did this in 2020, Why didn't he talk about the Brickyard 400? That's just as big as the Indianapolis 500 nowadays up there. It's a whole race weekend, just like the Indy 500 is. I agree with him that the Indianapolis 500 has been going a long time, so it's much more prestigious. But the Brickyard 400 still a fucking big deal in Indianapolis.
This is the thing to do every Memorial Day weekend in the state. More than 300,000 people watch the race in person, which is kind of a hard number to wrap your head around. That's like the entire population of Pittsburgh jammed into a small area for a weekend. I've gone a few times. A lot of people are passed out before the race ends. Kids pee in trash cans. The cars go so fast that when you stand at the fence line, it's hard to tell if the car's even blue or black. No joke. Food-wise, it ain't pretty. It's a steak and corn and potatoes kind of state. Pork tenderloins are the state's go-to staple. It's a big fried pork sandwich that's actually pretty good. They also eat a lot of sugar cream pies. For fun, many people hike.
Again, is he in Evansville? He's probably not, because this doesn't quite look like Eville, but still. Is he in the outskirts of Evansville?
Some bonfire, the older
No, that looks like New Harmony.
crowd can be found at their local.
No, maybe not New Harmony, but still. Yeah, we don't have anything like this hanging off the thing that I know of, but still. Again, outside of that one little place, Indiana has a uniform look when it comes to its cities.
Local Walmart, their local ice cream place, or at a high school athletic event. Indiana doesn't like being called a flyover state, but it's just sort of average. Average wealth, average crime, average cost of living. Not
Is he driving down Crattsville Road? That looks like Crattsville Road.
a lot of people are coming, but not a lot of people are leaving. It's a lot of tailgating, a lot of going to church, a lot of high school athletics, and a lot of corn and beans, and sometimes wheat. We didn't even talk about how tornadoes hit the state every spring.
Yeah, we went through a big tornado a while back that destroyed a trailer park nearby. Killed like 20 people, give or take. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Or the fact that everyone here thinks Peyton Manning should be president.
I don't think Peyton Manning should be president. I don't even like him on the fucking Allstate commercials or whatever fucking insurance company commercials he's on there with Brad Paisley. I don't even like Brad Paisley.
Nor did we have time to talk about how in the heck do I get out of this stupid corn maze.
Just set it on fire.
But we have to go. There's a high school wrestling tournament about to start, and I need to get there before the free popcorn's gone. Folks think I'm crazy. What do I grow? Drive around here and you'll see corn popping up in rows.
Pretty much.
Just look around me. All you see is beans. But at least all summer this whole place will be so green.
For like 3 months and then back to shit.
And we can shop Walmart together, go to church together.
No, not to church. Fuck church. I don't go to church.
Nothing's gonna stop us now. We can watch the Colts together.
I don't like the Colts, nor do I like football, like I stated earlier, so I'm not going to watch the Colts with you because football's boring.
Pick mushrooms together. Nothing's gonna stop us. Nothing's gonna stop us now. No, whoa. Hey guys, if you learned something new.
Well, if you like what I did here, please like, share, and subscribe. Click the notify bell for new content, and check out my Facebook and Twitter. Links will be in the description, because links for this, so you can watch it without me being silly and pausing it all the time. Because it's probably going to be a long video, because this was a 15-minute video, and I paused a lot to make some comments and whatnot, because like I said, I've been living in Indiana for all my life, and I'm 37 years old. So, yeah, he's right on a lot of the stuff. He's wrong on a lot of the stuff. It's, like I said, not all of us like football. Not all of us like sports in general outside of me liking wrestling. That's technically a sport, or at least an exhibition sport. So, you know, well, maybe not wrestling nowadays. Maybe more like wrestling from like the 70s and 80s. But I digress. A lot of the stuff is true, he said. There's a lot of cornfield, a lot of flat plains, a lot of nothing going on here. Yeah, and really the only thing, and really, here for the longest time, especially here in Evansville, the most exciting thing to do was go to a fucking hockey game. Hockey is not that cool. I went to a hockey game. It's cool to go to a hockey game and watch the puck and see the icicles or the cheerleaders for hockey. I didn't know hockey had cheerleaders. And yeah, but it's just to get out of the house around here. You go do something that you don't like. I'm not a big sports fan. I don't like any hockey teams. I'm not the biggest hockey fan. My friend's from Minnesota and New Jersey, so he's into hockey because that's where he grew up, and there's no areas. So he likes it. So I go with him in support. But again, it says something whenever I'm going to see something that I really don't like just to get out of the fucking house. So yeah, this place is pretty goddamn boring. If you like what I did, please like, share, and subscribe. Notify bell, click it, and leave me a comment. Especially if you're from Indiana watching this.